So the first topic I would like to talk about would have to be everyone that should be talking about right now, and it's the women's heavyweight champion of the world. I think what makes this one a little bit interesting, guys, there's not a lot of females in the heavyweight. But as long as you're 175 pounds, you are eligible to be in the women's heavyweight division. Now that's fair, which is weird because I look up the weight class. It does say women are allowed to be 175 pounds, but they also have a cruiserweight, which women don't care about. I just don't think women care about the heavyweight or the cruiserweight. So people just say, forget it, that's dead. So I don't know why they don't get rid of that weight class. But it also says here, when you look up the list of female world champions as of right now, it also says here, while trying to type this in, and I'm going to talk about Claressa Shields in just a minute, but while looking it up, which is weird because I just find this hilarious to talk about because it's stupid, but yet again, it is what it is. When you look up on Wikipedia a list of current female world boxing champions and you see the heavyweight, it says that the heavyweight is 200 plus pounds. But it also says plus 168 pounds, which that's the same weight class as the super middleweight. Even the light heavyweight is 168 and a quarter to 175 pounds. So I find it really confusing that heavyweight also says in women that not only that you could be 175 pounds or 200, which says there, if you just get rid of that crappy cruiserweight that women don't care, it also says 168 pounds. So I don't know. I find that really confusing. But anyway, nonetheless, this is what I got from all the information. Let's start out with Vanessa Lepage, WBC World Heavyweight Champion from 2016 to March 19th, May the 13th, and December the 23rd. She had 3 fights. Her debut was against a 2-0 woman, 2-1, and 1-1. Those were the records of her fights. She got split decision, a unanimous decision, and her last fight was a 3rd-round cornerman retirement and couldn't answer to the final bell of the 4th round. All those fights were 4 rounds. Then in August the 12th, 2017, she takes on Alejandro Jimenez, which some people thought is a transgender, a man dressed up like a woman. But yet again, I don't want to get into that. But the woman was 8-0. She was the WBC World Heavyweight Champion at the time. She knocked out Vanessa at round 3 by TKO, and Vanessa never fought again. She comes back in March 23rd, 2023, about 5.5 years, and she fights against a 2- and 1-1 person, goes 4 rounds. She goes in a 6-round fight in May the 5th against a woman with 1 win, 3 losses, 1 draw, and it also ends in the 1st round when the round ended, and the woman decided not to answer the bell for round 2, so another cornerman retirement. Those are the only 2 knockdowns Vanessa has had in her career. Both knockouts were cornerman retirements. So you can tell that Vanessa is not a knockout power puncher. And then on September the 8th, she takes on a woman with 3 wins and 1 loss. Now, someone said that this was also a contenders for the WBC at the time, so whoever wins is top contender. Well, she goes 6 rounds with the woman and wins. And then March the 7th this year, she takes on Ariel Argentina Vidal for the WBC vacant World Heavyweight Champion. They go 10 rounds to decision, with one judge scoring at 96-94, favoring Argentina. But the other 2 judges had 97-93, favoring Vanessa. She's the World Heavyweight Champion. She's 28 years old. And I just find this one really hard. Because, guys, if Argentina won this fight instead of the Canadian woman, just keep this in mind, Vanessa Lepage is Canadian, Claressa Shields is American. What does this have to do with the heavyweight? Well, guys, there's a lot of females that are in the heavyweight when it comes to around country after country, whether it's Colombia, Brazil, also Australia, and most importantly, surprising or not, which is hilarious, they once had a Vietnamese woman as well, and New Zealand. And also they had one that's actually Nigerian. But yet again, how do we know that these females, now these females are ranked in the box, Rick, but they don't have a lot of records into them. So it's going to be really hard to say yourself who's going to travel to this country, because not a lot of fans don't know who these females are. So I think that's the problem, because if Vanessa didn't win, I don't think this heavyweight title would never be involved, because Vanessa and Claressa are both North Americans. So I think if Vanessa didn't win, this fight would have never happened. As for Claressa Shields, her career is this. Her debut fight, she takes on undisputed future champion Cruz Dezum by 4 rounds. That was November 19, 2016, her debut. Her second fight, she goes 4-round TKO for the North American Boxing Federation middleweight. Then she decides to go super middleweight at one point. Wins 8 rounds by WBC silver super middleweight, and then she takes on Nikki Adler, knocks her out, finishes her in round 5 by TKO for the IBF and WBC super middleweight title. That would be her final knockout in her career on August 4th, 2017, because by 2018, on January the 12th, her first defense for that belt and her last ones, she will never knock out another boxer again. She takes on Tori Nelson, wins. She has a few more fights against Hannah Gabriels, Hannah Racken, Femke Hermans, and during the time, and around 2018, after Tori Nelson, when she defended the belt for the super middleweight, her second fight that year in June 22nd, she went to middleweight at 159.5 pounds. So this is when she became middleweight. And then she takes on Christine Hammer in April of 2019, undisputed. So on January the 10th, 2020, she goes down 153 pounds in the super welterweight. Defeats Ivana Habazin, Maria Eva Dekari on March the 5th, 2021. She's undisputed there. She comes back in 2022, back to the middleweight, defeats Emma Cousin. And then she defeats Savannah Marshall on October to get back her WBO belt that she lost. And now she defends it. She wins the WBF World Middleweight belt against Marcelo Cornejo in June last year, which I wish to God it should have been a knockout win. Guys, it's so bad that you see all these fights with Cornejo, Emma Cousin, Maria Eva Dekari, and also Ivana Habazin, or even Femke Hermans, Hannah Racken, and even Tori Nelson. Like, all those fights ended in every single round being won by Claressa Shields. Those fights were squash matches. I just feel bad that this is what we're going to witness today. We're going to witness Vanessa Lepage getting dominated in 10 rounds. Both of these girls are not knockouts. But yet again, I guess the heavier you are, the harder you fall down. But understand, guys, like Vanessa was 183 pounds during her debut in 2016. 2 months, she was 182. And then in December, she was 199 pounds. And then she weighed 231 pounds in August of 2017. Yeah. And then by 2023, she comes back at 184 pounds. May, 182. She was 178 pounds in September. She won the title when she was at 173 pounds, question mark. See, that's a problem, guys. Now we're saying that even though it says that if you're at 175 pounds, you are eligible to fight for a heavyweight title, even her opponent that she won the WBC belt, Abril Argentina Vidal, is 170.75 pounds when she fought against Vanessa for this WBC title. Which now, when looking at the list of current female world champions, it says that if you're 200 pounds, you're eligible. It also says on Wikipedia in another area, says that if you're 175 pounds, you're eligible. But here it also says plus 168 pounds. Also, that's super middleweight. If you're 168.25 pounds, that means you're light heavyweight. You can also fight for the heavyweight title. This doesn't make sense. I know they're trying to make women's boxing less like incompetent, because females are not big. Like, a 5'6" woman is like the perfect height for a woman. No offense, but that's Family Feud. Just if you guys haven't heard about that Family Feud question, then you might not know. 5'6" is a perfect height for a woman. But bodies and such, that's a really hard thing. Like, if you can find a 6-foot-tall woman like Vonda Ward, but yeah, again, I think a lot of females are basketball players at that height, so who's going to box in heavyweight? So I'm sure when you look at this, they don't want to see a bunch of grown, huge, big women with big tummies and guts, and I just don't think fans want to see that. They don't want to see. It's like if you're watching a WWE show back in the day, where even if you say Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik fight each other, like that Maccabi Mania thing. If you viewers have heard about that information of how out of shape they were and such, no one wants to see that type of stuff of out of shape men doing that. No one wants to see that. So for women's heavyweight boxing, it just makes that really hard for fans to watch this. Claressa Shields is in perfect shape. If she doesn't knock out Vanessa in a round, or even 2 rounds, or even 3 rounds like Joanisse did to her in 2017, then this might be a terrible fight. If she goes 10 rounds to decision, this might be a terrible fight. But yet again, we just have to wait and see. It's July the 27th. And guys, speaking about the weight class and such, not only she's fighting for the WBC belt that Vanessa has, she's also fighting for the WBO World Light Heavyweight title, which is actually a light heavyweight belt on the line. And people are saying that if Claressa wins, she's going to be a 4-time weight class champion. But as talking about the resume of Claressa Shields is champ, she became super middleweight in her earlier career. Then she became middleweight. By 2020, 2021, she was a super welterweight. That's 3 weight classes. If she wins this, not only is the world light heavyweight title, that's her 4th weight class, but the heavyweight is also a 5th weight class, which means she's going to be a 5-time weight class champion. So why is the media saying that she's going to be a 4-time weight class champion? That doesn't make sense. Also, guys, a couple weeks ago, it stated that not only she's fighting for those 2 belts, they're also fighting for the WBA interim belt. But now, as looking this up right now, it actually says here that they're gonna switch it from an interim WBA to a WBF World Heavyweight title. So that's interesting. And here's the title reigns of all the belts that were on the line. Now, the WBF World Heavyweight belt was first on the line in December 19th, 2009, when Natasha Rogozina, my favorite female boxer of all time, defeats Pamela London, which she was 237 pounds at the time, but Natasha was 172 pounds. She was a 5'11.5" tall woman, so her body and her size and her weight and her height was the perfect fit for that. But like I said before, 172 pounds versus 137 pounds, that's crazy, isn't it? That's ridiculous. Surprisingly, she knocked her out in round 8 by KO. It was a great knockout, good punch that ended, and Natasha retired from that. She also won the WIBF World Heavyweight title that same night, which was on the line, and that was the fight. That was the last time those titles were on the line. So yeah, now after 14 years, they're bringing back the belt. So hey, let's see if this match is going to be better than Natasha's win in 2009. I don't think so. The WBO World Light Heavyweight title was on the line since March the 30th, 2019, when Giovanna Perez defeated Lonnie Daniels, which is now, she's also a champion as of right now. Giovanna already lost her first ever fight in her pro career in 2017, but her last fights were all wins. She won against Lonnie Daniels in March 2019. She defended it by TKO in round 8 in October that same year against a nobody, and she retired as well. And that was it. That was the last of the titles. As for the WBC belt, well, the WBC belt was fought not once, not twice, not 3rd, not 4th, 5th, 6th, 7 times, but now make it 8 times. Like I said, Vonda Ward won the belt back in February the 10th, 2007 against Martha Salazar. And then the belt was retired until November 8th, 2014, when Martha Salazar, after 7.5 years of that loss, she took on Tansy Daniel, got 10 rounds and won. And then she held on to the belt for a long time until March 18th, 2016, when Alejandra Jimenez defeated her by majority decision. Alexandra defeated Charlotte Yu in the first round by a really dominating fight in 57 seconds of the first round. Sheesh. On April the 1st. And then on August the 12th, she took on, like I said, Vanessa Lepage, as we said, round 3 TKO. And then she retired the belt, this or that, and then that whole controversy of the drug test she had in 2020 with Cruz. I don't have to tell you viewers about that controversy in the Cornerman story there. And then April 17, 2021, Hannah Gabriels defeated Martha Patricia by round 2 TKO. And originally, they were already trying to schedule a fight in 2023 with a rematch with Hannah versus Claressa, but that fight never materialized, so that's why that fight in June against Claressa and that nobody woman with 5 losses was the fight. Yeah. And yeah, March 7th, 2024, Vanessa won, and now she's retaining it this month of July of 27. So what do I have to say about the heavyweight? To be honest, guys, here's the thing you viewers have to know. Guys, it's stated that in heavyweight, only 2 of the heavyweight titles are on the line in the heavyweight women's boxing, and that's the WBC and the IBF. The WBO and the WBA are not. There is no championship belts. There is no WBA or WBO heavyweight champions in women's boxing. Even for WBC, it says that there's only a WBO, WBA, and IBF title, but there's no WBC women's light heavyweight title. So, for reasons why these belts are not on the line, or there's no inaugural championship on the line, I just hope that maybe if Claressa Shields can bring these titles to life, this might bring in a new story. So this might be a new chapter, but yet again, there's not a lot of females in boxing, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the future. I think there's more to it, but it's probably for the best to just wait until the fight happens. Like I said, it's going to happen in Detroit, so we'll just see what happens when time goes on.